there are people who say, oh, how do you know Jesus was born on 25th? Where is it written in the Bible? And so by that, they claim that Christians celebrate a pagan feast. Well, yes, it was a pagan feast before 400 AD, but after 400 AD, that feast was consecrated and it was Christianized, and so it became holy, and it now became what we call Christmas in the church. The Russian church, the Serbian church, the Jerusalem church, and the Georgian church celebrate Christmas will celebrate Christmas on January 7th, 2026. Constantinople, of Romania, of Greece, and some parts of Ukraine celebrate Christmas on 25th of December. I don't come to teach you because I know so much, but it is because we are all learning the catechism of the Orthodox Church together with you. Iyo kero gaithi mwiroreri wa museneneko ni njitagwo museneneki wigatu na ino ni channel jeru itagwo museneneko extra oha thini wa YouTube make sure no subscribe. My name is James Mwangi, a catechist of the Eastern Orthodox Church here in Kenya, and I am coming to you live from Macarius Chapel, which is situated at the Orthodox Patriarchal Ecclesiastical School of Macarius III Archbishop of Cyprus Seminary here in Riruta, Nairobi, Kenya. And we are in the season of approaching to the incarnation of our Lord Jesus Christ. And today, being on the 10th of December, we are we are 15 days through the Nativity Fast, which will break on 24th at night of December 2025, as we celebrate the incarnation in the body of our Lord Jesus Christ on 25th of December. Now, the last time when I came here talking about the fasting, I got a question from one of our viewers who had an issue with the dates of the fasting, because earlier this year in our country, there was a trending topic about the dates of Christmas, because some Orthodox churches were celebrating on 7th of January, and then others celebrated on the 25th of December. And due to that, again, when the Nativity Fast is concerned also, there is a difference in the dates, because there are those who began on November 28th, 2025, and so they will break the fast on January 6th, 2026, and celebrate Christmas on January 7th, okay? And then there are others, of whom I am one of them, who began the fasting on November 15th and will break on December 24th, so that we celebrate Christmas Day on December 25th together with the rest of the world. Why is there this difference in the fasting dates and on the celebration date? So that is what we've come to at least look at today. But before we get into that, kuzaliwa kwako Kristo Mungu wetu, kuliletea ulimwengu nuru ya ujuzi, maana kwao wenye kuabudu nyota walifundishwa na nyota kukusujudu wewe jua la haki, na kukujua machweo kutoka juu. Utukufu kwako e Bwana. Your nativity, O Christ our God, has caused the light of knowledge to rise upon the world. For therein the worshippers of the stars were by a star instructed to worship you, the Son of Righteousness, and to know you as orient from on high. Glory to you, O Lord. I Genesis Christeo Deo Simon, anetileto cosmoto fostotis gnoseos, enaftigaritis astris latrevondes, hipoasteros edidas conto, se proskinin, toniliontis dikeosinis, que seguinos kinex ipsus anatolin, Kyrie doxa si. That is the apologetication of the nativity, of the feast of the nativity of our Lord Jesus Christ, sung in our local Swahili language, our official English language, and the third version is the Greek version. So let us begin. Now, the feast of the celebration of the feast of the birth of our Lord Jesus in the flesh, what we call the incarnation or nativity, and which is the feast of Christmas, of course, was not observed by the early Christians. This is because they mainly celebrated the feasts of his baptism, which is Epiphany, and his resurrection, which is Easter. The celebration of his birth began to be observed around the year 400 AD, which was in the 5th century. In the year 400, the church in the Western Roman Empire, that is, what became the Western Roman Catholic Church, began celebrating Christmas on 25th December, aligning it with a Roman pagan holiday that honored the unconquered sun, that is, Sol Invictus. Because of this, the pagan feast was replaced and consecrated by the church into a Christian feast called Christmas. So there are people who say, oh, how do you know Jesus was born on 25th? Where is it written in the Bible? And so by that, they claim that Christians celebrate a pagan feast. Well, yes, it was a pagan feast before 400 AD, but after 400 AD, that feast was consecrated and it was Christianized, and so it became holy, and it now became what we call Christmas in the church. It is very important for people to note that even if, let's say, for example, I have a spoon, a normal spoon that I eat with, and then I bring that spoon into the church, and then a priest performs a mass on it and prays on it and blesses it, it ceases to be a normal spoon. It becomes a holy spoon. And this is how Moses was instructed by God to tell Aaron and his children that they should pray upon even the utensils to be used in the Holy of Holies so that it became holy. We separate them from all the other things in the world. Once we bring them to the altar, they become holy items to be used in the altar. So this is the same thing that happened to the Sol Invictus pagan holiday. It was consecrated and transformed and changed through prayers and, of course, it being Christianized to become holy, a holy holiday. And so it became the holiday, the day where we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Jesus Christ. I hope there we are all fine. Now, the calendar used at that time was the Julian calendar, sometimes called the Old Calendar. Of course, it's called the Old Calendar, and it was introduced by the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar in 45 BC, before Christ was born, and was used until the year 1582 AD, after Christ had come, lived in the world, born, and even died and ascended and stayed a long, very many years, even after the first schism in the 5th century, the Great Schism in 1054. That time we were using the Julian calendar. But in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII noticed that this calendar had inaccuracies because it added one extra day every 128 years, and compared with the current calendar, it is now 14 days behind. Okay? Due to this problem, Pope Gregory XIII of the Roman Catholic Church introduced a new calendar in 1582, which is the one used today, and it is known as the Gregorian calendar. It is the one that is mostly used around the world by Western churches, Protestant churches, as well as in just the normal years of our governments. The calendar, this Gregorian calendar, adds a leap day every 4 years. Okay, so after every 4 years, there is an extra day that is added. That is February 29th, and we call that year where that day is added a leap year after every 4 years. Now, this is something the Julian calendar did not accurately manage, and it aligns more correctly with the astronomical cycles of the seasons. Okay? When introduced, it removed 10 days. For example, if today is the 10th of December, Pope Gregory said, no, it is not the 10th. Today is on 20th. So Pope Gregory removed 10 whole days, okay, out of the calendar he created, and so the 10 days were lost. All right. So many Western churches, Roman Catholic, and all the Protestant churches adopted the Gregorian calendar. This calendar, we have said, that has an extra day every 4 years. The Gregorian calendar lost 10 days because Pope Gregory declared that, like today being on 10th, he said, no, it's not 10th, it's 20th. So 10 days got lost there. Now, this Gregorian calendar is the calendar that is used in all the Western Roman Catholic churches and the Protestant churches. Okay. However, the Eastern churches, which is now the Eastern Orthodox Church, continued using the Julian calendar, the old Julian calendar that we said was introduced by Emperor Julius in the 45 BC. This means that because of the 14 days difference that we said exists in the Julian calendar, it means that December 25th on the Gregorian calendar corresponds with January 7th on the Julian calendar. Okay? That is why some churches, some Orthodox churches like the Russian Church, the Serbian Church, the Jerusalem Church, and the Georgian Church celebrate Christmas will celebrate Christmas on January 7th, 2026, because they are following the old Julian calendar. The original calendar that was there before the time of Jesus coming and after Jesus came until 1582. But that calendar did not get lost. There are these churches that use it. So because of them celebrating Christmas on this date, then it means their nativity fast is the one that started on November 28th. Okay? Now, those are two calendars, the Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar. But I am an Orthodox Christian, but I don't celebrate Christmas on January 7th. I celebrate on December 25th, but I am not following the Gregorian calendar. So what happened? In 1923, some Orthodox churches met at a congress called Pan-Orthodox Congress of Constantinople, where they discussed how to correct the old Julian calendar. They introduced reforms to bring it closer to the Gregorian calendar. The reforms brought about a calendar that is called the New Julian calendar. Okay? So in the Orthodox Church, we have the old calendar and the new calendar. So the old calendar is the old Julian calendar, but this of 1923 is the new Julian calendar. So it is still the original calendar, but it has some changes that makes it similar to the Gregorian calendar, which one of the changes is that Christmas be celebrated on 25th of December. Okay? And I believe, if I'm not wrong, that there are discussions now to align it, to also align the feast of Easter together, to be celebrated on the same date. Now, Orthodox churches under the jurisdiction of Constantinople, of Romania, of Greece, and some parts of Ukraine celebrate Christmas on 25th of December. I hope we are now very clear. Now that I and the Church of the Orthodox Church in Kenya is under the Greek Patriarchate of Alexandria and all Africa, then this is why we celebrate the Christmas day on 25th December. And so that means that our nativity fast starts on November 15th and ends on the eve of Christmas on December 24th at night. Okay? So we have three things here. We have the old Julian calendar, we have the new Julian calendar, and the Gregorian calendar. The old Julian calendar and the new Julian calendar are the calendars that are used in the Orthodox churches. Okay? But the Gregorian calendar of 1582 is the one that is used by the Western Roman Catholic and all Protestant churches. So, I hope that you who had asked this question, you have got it clearly. And as I always say, I don't come to teach you because I know so much, but it is because we are all learning the catechism of the Orthodox Church together with you. The next time we shall have more and more catechism lessons as demand comes, and as we continue in the fast, in the nativity fast. Let us continue strong. Remember, the main foods that we are not taking are all animal products, including eggs, including milk, including red meats, and sometimes we also do not take wine and oil. Okay? And That is the recommendation of the church. But there are people who follow very strict fasting rules. So they fast from everything, and so they do it a dry fast. May the holy incarnation of our Lord Jesus Christ and the prayers of our Blessed Mary be with us. Ngiribotera ceceni ya Museneneko Extra kuma haha thini wa YouTube, gikuria na gitio utuike wa gusubscribe, gushare na gucomment kenda wa video ino, na ndukariganirwo ni guturumirira thini wa TikTok Museneneko Extra na thini wa Facebook Museneneko. Nie njitagwo Museneneki Wigatu.